driving I-93 down into Boston. Beautiful sunny day, almost noon, October 1st, 2013. Leaves are changing, definitely pretty. Going 10 over the limit's too slow, so I'll let some people go by. Smooth roads. So we started out just south of Tewksbury there on 93. We're about to hit Wilmington and North Reading and all these other places. Thankfully, it's a nice, beautiful blue sky day. We'll drive down 93 and cut in onto 38 Somerville, and then from there we'll take Route 28 closer into Cambridge, and then 3rd Street to cut over to Cambridge Center. So some fun facts is that once we got south of Route 125 back there, it's now 4 lanes each way. North of there, they allow you to drive on the shoulders during rush hour, inbound in the morning rush hour, outbound in the evening rush hour. Of course, it's a Massachusetts thing where they don't feel like widening the roads. They'll just let you drive on the shoulders and not have anywhere to break down. I think that's crazy, but that's what happens. So we're on our way to Kendall Square, which is pretty much the center of high tech nowadays. Eastern Massachusetts. buses that go to Logan Airport. Lots of parking. They built it up nice a few years back. Great if you're going to North Station. I know that there is a shuttle bus from North Station over to Kendall Square, or I can take the orange line to the red line, but either way, it takes a lot of time. It's probably, if it was a nice day, just walk, but walk would probably be a half-hour walk. And here we are at the I-95 interchange, otherwise known as 128, the loop road around Boston. And they keep talking about redesigning this interchange. Someday they really need to. It's noon on a Tuesday, so there's not too much of a backup here, but the scissors action between on and off traffic definitely killer during rush hour. And so further on down, let's say we got 11 miles to Boston. That's not too bad. Further on down, we'll go through Spot Pond and these other places that I have no idea why they were named that, but that's what they're named. Traffic reports always talking about traffic being backed up, etc. It's kind of nice to drive in the middle of the day and not have to sweat that sort of stuff. Stoneham, Melrose, Woburn. So in case you're not from around here, now you know how to pronounce those names. There's always seems to be particular pronunciations for some towns. What's great is as we get up over this hill and down a bit, you start to see the skyline of Boston, which is pretty cool. to the accent. Malden, Revere, or Revere. It's interesting how the R's travel in eastern Massachusetts lingo, because people say ca, potty, peasant party, Revere, beers for beers, but then they'll say pizza instead of pizza, or idea instead of idea. Seems a little crazy to me. They just move the R's all over the place. But that's what I get for coming from out of town. I love the sounds of the highway here. I guess some construction equipment must have put some grooves into the pavement. Now, soon here, we're at our exit. But I didn't miss it. Oh yeah, by Century Bank. Here we go. Perfect. So we take this exit number 30 here. It's a little easier to get over to Kendall Square from here. The Medford-Somerville exit. Somerville being a city adjacent to Cambridge, being a city adjacent to Boston. And Charlestown is nearby as well. That's the scoop. I love the signs here. Why pay more? Herb Chambers. That's a good point. Why pay? So there's a sign to our right, entering Medford. 1630 is the year the town was founded. Yeah, just say that's a while ago, right? You know, Pilgrims landed in the 1620s and pretty quickly established these towns around here, right? Down to Route 28, which will be in a few blocks. Turn right on that, and that becomes the McGrath Highway, which once upon a time, I guess they might have wanted an elevated highway that far in, circling Boston and whatnot. They only built a small portion as elevated, and the rest street level. There's a lot of paintings along the wall to the left here. It's kind of nice. There's some art. It's not against that old concrete block wall. And it's certainly nicer to look at than plain old concrete. So we're in Somerville at the moment, near the Mystic River, which is kind of towards the left of us. There's I-93 on the left of us, the elevated highway here. It's always the last couple miles that take you the longest. Days like this when it's clear and sunny, 75 degrees, early October, leaves are out. It's beautiful. Another 2 months I'll be complaining about the cold, and then 2 months after that I'll be wondering if winter will ever end, and so forth. Then in April things start turning around. Here's our turn for 28. This guy in front of me is a little confused, so we'll let him go. First he wanted to turn left, then he wanted to turn right. Let him go. God bless the state police, they've got a tough job. Imagine pulling someone over, you have no idea what they're up to. Most people are pretty normal, and some just, who knows, right? Up ahead we'll cross over an old truss bridge, which I think is kind of cool. Over a set of railroad tracks. We'll see the Boston skyline because we're kind of facing towards it once again. And here's the elevated portion of the highway here. The two tall buildings to the left is the John Hancock building, and the center towards the right is the Prudential Center. Yes, steel plates. Oh, so smooth. Holy. Anyway, quality New England roads, I keep saying. Hopefully they'll fix them up. I'm not holding my breath that one. So we're still in Somerville. We're on the closer towards the edge of Cambridge. Cambridge is to our right a bit, so we got to get down to 3rd Street. We'll cut over to Kendall Square. If we kept going straight, we'd run right into Boston proper, so to speak. And that's the scoop. And here's 3rd Street. Sign says Kendall Square straight ahead. I find that weird because this is pretty much the quick way to get to Kendall Square is on 3rd Street. And I believe we're in Cambridge at this point. So Cambridge is very much about not having cars be primary. They raised the platform here on this intersection, slow you down. Pedestrians definitely more than have the right of way. Bike lanes are prevalent, even in Somerville too. It's all around Boston. Bike lanes have gotten very popular, and you got bike rental racks. I think that's kind of cool because it leaves more space on the road for me. So to speak. So right up on the opposite side of this corner is Kendall Pizza. Some good subs and stuff there. I'm not a big fan of any place that says House of Pizza. Usually means Greek or other Italians make my pizza, but is what it is. There's been a lot of construction around Kendall Square in this area here. A big building going up on the left. A lot of biomed, a lot of high technology around here. This building immediately to our right, I believe, is an old boiler manufacturer, and they've converted it to office buildings or apartments. Yeah, that's apartments. The next one is an old office building, I believe. And then further up ahead is the T, the red line at Kendall Square is there. And then they have crosstown buses, things like that. And then MIT is on the other side of that T-stop. So essentially to our left, about a half mile is Boston. Straight ahead, we're just headed towards Kendall Square in Cambridge. We're in the eastern side of Cambridge, if you want to follow along on a map. And here's the John A. Volpe National Transportation System Center on the right. And I suppose that's something important, research and innovation, I guess, in transportation. Part of that, here's a nice bike lane right there. I don't know, mass transit, bike lanes, cars. We're turning on Broadway here in Cambridge. They're basically narrowing down the street to make it one lane each way, and a lot more pedestrian friendly. It's a lot of what they call street calming. That's okay. It's not like you're really going to travel too fast around here anyway. Yeah, that's the story. So I'm going to turn left here to the parking garage right by the Marriott, which is right next to our building at 1 Cambridge Center. All right. Thanks everybody for watching.